the Overnight Underground Podcast. Here's the headlines. Things are opening up. Please don't drink the bleach. Crazy things people believe. And stupid sayings from Florida. All coming up on today's Overnight Underground. I'm John Ford. The good news is that today more and more states are opening things back up. Well, hopefully that brings good news. Georgia, Oklahoma, Alaska, and South Kakalaki have already lifted some lockdowns. Colorado is getting retail pickup today. Tennessee and Georgia are opening their restaurants, and Montana just opened churches yesterday. All this despite the fact that Friday saw the largest single-day spike in coronavirus infections. In Georgia, Governor Brian Kemp is holding a prayer service today as restaurants return to dine-in service.
Hey, you stay away from the frozen food section. Your boobs will harden.
The only thing crazier than a president who would imply the use of internal bodily disinfections to combat the coronavirus is that there are people out there stupid enough to actually consider trying it. In Maryland, yeah, we know they're not particularly bright over there. The governor has gone on record that hundreds of Marylanders have contacted the state to see if it's okay to ingest Clorox.
We had hundreds of calls come into our emergency hotline at our health department asking if it was right to ingest Clorox or alcohol cleaning products, whether that was going to help them fight the virus. So we had to put out that warning to make sure that people were not doing something like that, which would kill people actually to do it.
Maryland's Governor Larry Hogan on ABC's This Week with George Snuffleupagus. Hogan went on to say that he hopes that the president will work on making the language of his press conferences clearer.
The president's got to focus on the message, stick to a message, and make sure that these press conferences are fact-based. I think other people in the administration have been trying to make that clear to him as well.
Remember how Reagan was a great communicator? Trump could go down in history as a great miscommunicator. Wisely, the White House has since scrapped the Monday coronavirus press circus. Conspiracy theories, you gotta love them. And just because you're paranoid doesn't mean they're not out to get you, you know. Here's a new one. 1 in 10 Americans believe that the coronavirus was created by the U.S. government. According to a study from the Annenberg Public Policy Center, fairly reputable organization, nearly 25% of Americans believe the virus arose in a Chinese lab. And 1 in 5 think the pandemic is being over-exaggerated, just to keep Trump from being reelected. Actually, I don't think the president needs any help with that. He seems to be hitting that mark all on his own. One of the real positives of the lockdown, and politicians spouting their horse shit on an almost daily basis on the telly and interwebber tubes, is waiting for them to say the next stupid thing. Take Trump, for example. You can't tell me the press corps isn't waiting, salivating like Pavlov's dog, for the president to put his foot in his mouth over and over and over again. Our latest singer, though, however, comes from the governor of Florida, who came right out and said what everyone already knew, but no one would say, outside of hushed and polite conversation.
Florida is ground zero for the nursing home. I mean, we're God's waiting room. We have a huge number of facilities, a huge number of residents.
Yep, the Florida governor, Rick DeSantis, admitting that the Sunshine State is actually the Sunset State.
We're God's waiting room.
But in truth, people don't go to Florida to die. It's just that once they get there, they welcome the sweet release of death. Kim Jong-un, dead, vegetative, or just on a really great vacation?
You make the call.
Yeah, it's really hard to say. Some reports have the fat bastard dictator dead and already in the grave. Trump says his best buddy, he's just fine. My favorite comes from the Japanese weekly Shukan Gendai, I think, which claims that Kim is in a, quote, vegetative state and unlikely to recover following a botched emergency surgery for a stent in his heart. According to the site, loosely translated by Google, Kim had a heart attack, was rushed to the local hospital, and the surgeon was so nervous to operate on the rotund leader, with his hands shaking while he bungled the surgery. The website notes that, quote, Chairman Kim Jong-un turned into a plant human. I think that's supposed to be human vegetable, although it could mean that he turned into an actual human plant. South Korea, on the other hand, believes Kim is getting off the cart and is busy having a fag.
You think I'll go for a walk?
You're not fooling anyone, you know.
N-E-W-S. A mostly correct and occasionally incomplete transcript and links to reference sources and articles of this Overnight Underground can be found at overnightunderground.com.